This is the card that brought you two together. Reconciliation. Boom. Right there. Now, the card Judgment doesn't necessarily have to mean reconciliation. It just means something. Ooh, sorry. It can mean something coming back from the dead or something rising back up from the ashes, right? This is Phoenix rising up from the ashes. Resurrection. And I feel like with Judgment coming up here like that, it does talk about there's something that, that does return. There's an opportunity that represents itself again. All right, and now the challenge is figuring out what to do about this resurrection. Is figuring out what path you're going to take, because obviously, right, with the situation coming back up, it's going to be kind of hard to figure out which path you're going to be taking here. Okay, now the underlying energy is the 8 of Swords. All right, underneath that was the 5. Geminis, whoa. Okay, so automatically I'm like, I understand what you're going through, because y'all thought this shit was done. Y'all thought this shit was over. No, it's not. It's not over yet. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's just beginning, as a matter of fact, because you guys are completely... I don't think you guys are taken off guard. I don't think you guys were blindsided by this. I think something tells me that you guys kind of had this... had this feeling that this was going to be coming back for a while, and some of you guys may be feeling like this was, this is you coming back, right? Some of you guys may be coming back to a situation that's previously, that you may have left for yourself to kind of reconnect with who you are. But ultimately, y'all, sorry, y'all. Ugh. Okay, so anyway, ultimately, I feel like definitely there's some decisions to make on both parts, because I think both parties are having to make a decision about which path they're going to be going into. All right, because this is, what did I say? Resurrection. This is reconciliation. Y'all are getting back together. Now, Gemini, going on this side, and I usually read one side here. This side would be yours. But feel free to go on to the other side if it doesn't resonate. But yeah, you guys are coming up here with the Hermit in your mind, and as what you think of this relationship and the Hermit. And I feel like for a lot of you guys may have felt like you guys were ghosted in this relationship. Maybe you guys have taken some time out to reflect on yourself. You guys maybe found this relationship as something that was spiritually growing, or something that helped you spiritually grow. Something that helped you be you, this person that, this relationship that made you who you are now, right? I think when it comes to thinking about this relationship, a lot of you guys are trying, are really just like, are looking back and looking at the situation from the last time you've been with this individual. You know what I mean? I think for a lot of you guys are trying to figure out if this is, if there's any sort of reconciliation within you, if you can, forgive and move on. The Hermit does talk about spiritual healing, though. It does talk about, it's a very empowering card, because you find find the power, find the answers within yourself to help you move forward, right? You take the opportunity to heal. You go through that, that difficult journey to overcome a lot of the struggles from situations that either that may have been concluded clearly or not been concluded. There's a lot of things about the Hermit that does speak of empowerment. And I think you do feel empowered from this situation because of the isolation that it honestly may have put you in, or perhaps you just felt more empowered from this relationship. And the other person has got the 7 of Cups. So this person here is showing that this it's weird. It's almost like they feel like this relationship is too good to be true, or this reconciliation is too good to be true. Because the 7 of Cups can talk about things looking as wonderful as they are, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get you to where you want to be, right? There's no way to tell or whether or not this is something that's going to guarantee you happiness. And I feel like this is something that I think this situation is like, at least for this person, it's like taking a look at some fine art, but not sure of what the message of the painting is really saying, if that makes sense. So this may be honestly something that they've always wanted, but they're not truly sure if they can truly trust this. Now, in the present, they're showing the Sun. So they're showing that this person is being authentic and being clear. I think the sun, for me, the sun does indicate that this is clarity in the situation. Um, there's no masks, there's no shadows, there's no nothing. This person's very clear. And how you're showing up is the world. So you're kind of like completing a cycle here yourself. You're at that peak where you're like, you're reaching a successful ending to your to a cycle here that you're finishing up. Obviously with this judgment card coming up here, yeah, like there's some transformation going on here, but the world doesn't necessarily talk about transformation. It talks about transition from ending one phase and beginning a new. And I feel like with this world card here, like you guys do feel like you have been through, that you're dealing with some sort of unfinished business. Like you're wrapping up loose ends, if that makes sense, with the world here. So I feel like honestly judgment gives that wrapping up of loose ends sort of energy. The world kind of feels like, you're just kind of waiting for the new beginning to start. You're just enjoying where you are at this moment. You're not really thinking about, what the future has to hold, but you're not letting the past kind of keep you held back from going and transitioning to a new beginning here. And that's not a bad thing at all. But here's what's interesting. The reason why you're showing the world and thinking of this relationship as the Hermit, is because of the Two of Swords. Okay? So the Two of Swords, what is that? Not talking, but excuse me. It's about trying to make a decision based off of what you believe in. It's about figuring out what your truth is, right? It's in decisions. It's not seeing the situation very clearly to make your decision, right? It's not really, because if you were looking at the situation, right, or this person was looking at the situation, they'd be able to make the clearest decision that they could possibly make. But here with the Two of Swords, this person is having a hard time, or they're keeping the balance of the situation before they make the decision that they feel led to make. Does that make sense? So it's almost like this relationship is throwing you for a loop a little bit, because you're taking some time out to really reflect and see where you've come from and how much you've changed, and you're ready to kind of move on with your life. But this situation has come back up from the past, and you're left with figuring out what to do with this. You're left with to figure out what to do with this next step. Because why? The challenge is the Two of Wands. The challenge is the Two of Wands. It's about where you're going to be going, how you're going to make this situation work. What is your next steps? And I feel like you guys are trying to make that decision, and you guys are stuck at a crossroads because you don't know which way to go. You don't know if you just rather just stay single, forgive the person, let that whole situation go, and just continue moving about your own life, or do you want to take this person back? And if you take this person back, it cannot be the same way that they've always have been, because they have to be done differently, because you are not the same. Right? That's why this whole Hermit energy is coming up for your thoughts, because you're looking at the situation and thinking, no, I'm not that person no more. That's person. I can't do the things that we used to do because I'm not that person anymore. So this is one of those situations. Now with the other person here, the reason why they're coming up as the Sun, as well as coming up as the Seven of Cups, is because they have the Four of Cups here, right? They're trying to figure out if this can be reconciled, and if so, what new things can they experience from it, since they've already been there, done that? Does that make sense? Right? They've already been in this relationship with you, and they're looking at the situation. They're looking at everything that they've been through with you. They're already looking at other things they've experienced. They're looking at everything that they felt. Sorry, y'all. Thought somebody was knocking on my door. But it's just my neighbors upstairs. Okay, so like I was saying, it looks like this person is trying to figure out if there is going to be anything new to come out of this relationship if they go back, right? Because honestly, they're looking at everything that they've been through. They're looking at everything that they've gone through already. They're trying to figure out if this is truly what they really want to do. They're having to make a decision here with whether or not this is something that they really want, right? If they can get what they want to feel out of this relationship. So everybody's kind of stuck in their own thoughts with the Eight of Swords there, right? Everybody's kind of stuck in their own mind, trying to figure out what they're what really makes them happy, and if this is going to make any sense to go back together. But I feel like the point of this whole thing is that, there is no real way to know if this is the right decision. You're just going to have to go with what you feel is right for you and just see how it goes. Right? I'm not the tarot reader that's going to sit here and tell you how to live your life. All right? That's not my job. But my job is to show you the situation so you can come up with the clearest decision that you could possibly make for yourself. And that's what the situation looks like here. There's no wrong or right decision, Gemini. You just have to trust your instincts and run with it. Right? Trust your instincts. Know whatever you know about your ex. If you're willing to tolerate that all over again, if you're willing to work out and really try to put it in foundation that really does, support and make sure that you get what you want out of it, then hey, do it. But if you feel like this is just, this person, you do feel love for this person, it doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and take a look at your message oracle and see what you guys got. Okay, too many damn cards, alright? Too many damn cards. I just want one, please. Okay, then. Just gonna pull out one, but they flipped out this one. Seek your answers within. What did I just tell you? You gotta figure that out for yourself. Only you know whether this is a relationship worth rekindling or not. Only you know if this is a relationship worth reconciling or not, right? Somebody coming back from your past, I mean, you have to get back together with them. And the Hermit does talk about you guys going in and figuring out the answers within yourself. It already told us that. It's like, what is your next journey going to look like? What is it going to be? What do you want it to be? It's totally up to you. And no way is the wrong way. Alright? But seeking the answers within yourself. I'm going to read that information for you as well. Alright. If you find yourself confused, your intuition and inner voice drowned out by the answers, wisdom, and advice of others, then it's time for you to step away. Withdraw to a place of solitude. Like the bear, it is time for you to hibernate, to go within and seek the void, and to embrace the silence that dwells within. Within that silence are the answers to your questions, and because they are answers born of your truths, they will be answers that move you forward instead of hold you still. Oh wow. What a powerful message that was. Alright, and I think this is, I think we don't allow ourselves to really think things through sometimes because we feel all up in the moment. Things are happening so fast, we're like, whoa. And at the same time, I kind of feel like this person does feel something for you as you feel something for them, but the point of it is, it's not about how they feel about you. Because let's be real, it don't freaking matter how they feel. This is still a decision on what you want to do, what your happiness looks like. It has nothing to do with how the other person feels. If they are going to react, they're going to make the decision based on how they feel about you, not how you feel about them.